Motero. Odube, my love, I will be back to Zimbabwe just for you, Christina. Chinyanga Filipa. Odube, my love, Nalatio Namotema Nangai, Christina. Iris, Limanko, Odube, my love, Nalatio Namotema Nangai, Christina. Titi Le Valois, Benz, Petrol. Christina, mama, don't try to be my love. I will come back. Don't try to be my love. I will come back. Don't try to be my love. You might wanna be.
Système ya Benda. Paul Kapunda, président Benjamin Mouteba. Jean-Sébastien Massiala, Jacques Banza Mujinga, Soka Kapengene.
Ikamba ekomi na moka tokomi komona tokomi kubanga. Yambone système abenda. Malingi moninga okosote. Moninga amadate.
Antopo Passa, Antolo Kage.
Ikamba ekomi na moka tokomi komona tokomi kubanga. Yambone système abenda.
I'll be there. This is my home, and I'm home to stay.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Yeah, oh, you listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you listen to mama.
Thank you for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now live on ABS TV, the People's Platform. Please, if you are just joining, please hit the share button. I want to believe all of you are in ground zero are doing great, and also those in ground one are doing excellent. I want to say you're welcome to the People's Platform. Again, I want to welcome all of you, and I want to tell you clearly that the state of our struggle is very, very strong. It has never been this strong. And today, I want to tell you that we have great panelists today. 3 powerful members that has been in this struggle from day one. Today, they are joining us, and we're going to hear some great revelations from them. So please hit your share button. Hit your share button, and let's start. Hit your share button if you're just joining. Today, you're watching Face the People. Face the People is the new show on ABS TV, presented by yours truly, Fritz Musodi. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I come today to bring you this special show. And so hit your share button before we start. So I will begin by introducing our panelists. We have Honorable Mrs. Anne. You all know her. She is a member of the Registration Council. She's chair of the Government Affairs Committee. And she has been working so hard to make sure that our institutions are kept intact. So she's welcome. Miss Anne, you're welcome. And also we have, Miss Anne, you're welcome.
Thank you, Comrade Fritz. Fellow Amazonians, good evening and thanks for joining us live. Please click your share button because we have enough for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable, for joining us in this special show.
You're welcome.
Our next panelist is the popular Dr. Atienjo. You all know her. He's a very special advisor to the former President Sako. He is here with us today. And Dr. Atienjo, you're welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Comrade Fritz. It's a pleasure having me on board. I'll always be happy to come here on ABC. Fellow Ambazonians, fellow Ambazonians, today is a great day that the Lord has made, that we rejoice in it. And we are here to share a lot of information about the state of our struggle. Even though we have a lot of people trying to bring us back, but we are focused and we have the resolve to forge ahead with the revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Atienjo. You're welcome to the show. Our final panelist is his Reverend Apostle Chang. You all know him. He's a human rights and people's advocate. He's been on this show on several occasions, and he's also the former High Commissioner General of the High Commission for General Intervention in the UN. So he's here with us today. Hi, Reverend, you're welcome to the show, Reverend.
Thank you very much, Comrade Fritz, Musodi. And greetings to co-panelists, fellow Amazonians. It's going to be a wonderful day. God bless you.
Thank you for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, hit your share button. Hit your share button before we start. We're going to start, as usual, with a minute of silence for our fallen heroes. Those who have gone before us, we'll give them a minute of silence as usual. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's all give our heroes a minute of silence before we start the show. Thank you very much. Thank you for the minute of silence. May the soul of the departed go before us and rest strong and keep us still fighting for them. They did not die for us to stop this struggle. They did not die for us to be discouraged. They died because they want us to keep fighting, and we shall keep fighting till we arrive Boya. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to start with the inauguration of our newly elected president. His highness, I can say high highness, Iya Marianta, President Iya Marianta. Madam Honorable was there. I want to talk to her and how she organized that inauguration in London. She's here with us. Honorable Anne is here to tell us how she organized that project. It was a wonderful project. We saw the inauguration. It passed so well. So, Miss Anne, can you tell us a little bit about how it went in London?
Yes. I greet my fellow panelists, Reverend Chang and Dr. It's a pleasure being with you on this show. And I thank those Ambazonians who are watching right now. Thank you, Comrade Fritz, for bringing me on this show. The inauguration was really, really great. And before I start, I want you to know that our president does not want people calling her all those names, Your Majesty, Your Highness, all those things. She just wants to be ma president, ma presi or president, just simple. She does not want to be honored like a god or like a goddess. So just keep it simple. She's a simple woman, and that is exactly what we want. The inauguration was really good, but we had a lot of technical difficulties. The the venue was kept strictly confidential because we didn't want any disruption. So it was mainly for family members and close friends. So what the president wanted was a maximum of 20 people, and even though we ended up having more than 20 people, but her main idea was just 20. And her family was there, and her children, her husband, her mom, everybody was there to support her. I was equally there with my family, and everything passed very well. Besides the technical issues that we encountered, relaying the information to the public, and the chairman of the Restoration Council also had some technical issues. Reading out the oath for her to take the oath in front of the whole public, in front of the international community, but which was really good because at the end of the day, everything was well executed. So I always say all is well that ends well.
Thank you, Dr. Atienjo. I know you are the former advisor to former President Sako. You know very well what you can tell a new leader. She's been the former the president and the county head for UK. She's been the Ambazonian European leader. So she's also the former undersecretary for education. So what advice can you give her as she enters her first week in her duty? You know, talking about her character, her policy, her governing style, or what advice can you give? Because you are a typical advisor to the former president Sako.
Okay, actually, thank you, Comrade Fritz, for this very, very important question, which puts our newly elected president in position to actually act. Actually, one thing I've understood is that my president, Iya Marianta, has a very rich background. In terms of her experience, she has a very big experience. First of all, you have already enumerated the portfolios that she has undertaken. And I want to remind us here that when she took the position of Undersecretary for Education and Strategic Planning, she did a great job in that department. And we can actually see a lot going on in that department due to based on what her input in the department. Yes, she is a young lady who has accepted to take the crown of leadership of Ambazonians. And we must commend her for that because it takes a great mind and somebody with courage to summon that power or summon that energy to take that kind of position. So in the first week, we've had a week of after the inauguration. I think the president is working hard to put her cabinet together. And my piece of advice to her is to make connections with the Ground Zero, Ground One, and other stakeholders in this revolution, so that we can all work as in unity to save our revolution from the hands of those who have taken it hostage and have stalled the development or progress. But I see the president she's already acting. She's been making a lot of consultations. The president and vice, they've been making a lot of consultations, which is a good start. And they are also making contacts with our fighters on the ground and the generals and commanders on the ground. And you know, Comrade Fritz and other panelists, you know how it feels when a president picks a phone and calls a commander on the ground. It is really fulfilling. And I will tell you, most of these commanders are going to enjoy uh, the leave because they are going to have that direct contact with the president and all those that matter in this leadership. And we have a program which is known as the recalibration plan for Ambazonians. This recalibration plan has its main objective is to actually make sure that we direct our resources to where they need it most. And we understand that Ground Zero needs our resources most. So we are going to direct our resources, and that is what the President Iya Marietta is focused on at this moment. And if that is done, then we see that we have changed the revolution. It's a complete turn from events that have been happening in the past 4 years, where we had a heavy-handed individuals who put everything on aside and put their self-interest in the position first, and that is why you see our revolution has been kind of impeded by their actions because of personal or ego or egocentric behaviors based on this from these individuals. So, what I would say in a nutshell is that the president would have to make contacts with all these stakeholders, contact Ground Zero, and also consult with other members in this revolution that would actually make things work. And I see her already doing that. Yeah, she's already started. So we can see that the future is impregnated and with very good things for our revolution. Thank you.
Thank you for that good advice to our newly elected president, Iya Marianta. I want to say, please know that go to the interim government website, which carries President Iya Marianta's image. You can go there, ambazoniagovernment.org. You can go to the website. You see that is the official website of the government. So people, those who want to see, you want to have any information about the Ambazonian government, the constitution, you want to pay your CID, you can go to the website. Reverend Chang, I know you have you as a diplomat, you have gone through different presidents and you have seen how they have achieved their goals. Our newly elected president will need some kind of religious commitment. And you as a reverend, I don't know, what advice can you give in that line? We know that any president or candidate should have that religious commitment. Either you are Christianity or you are Islam, you must have that commitment to God. So I want to believe that she has all those other qualities like proof of wisdom, or she has good governing style. We have seen her as the Secretary of Education, and also proving of good character. Those are other qualities that we need in a good president. But Reverend Chan, what do you think about that?
Thank you, Comrade Fritz. I have the conviction that our president is God-fearing, and the commitment with God is paramount. Once ever you want to succeed, you put God first. And of course, this a country is different with a church. So while a church and clergy actually are focused on dealing with Christians or imams and the rest to deal with faithfuls, the president, Iya Marianta, is having a very Herculean task, and our first commitment is going to be to pray for her, to advise her to turn the key of prayer into motion, and always put her prayer request for us to support her in the place of prayer, and then to know that you're going to be dealing with Christians, Muslims, non-Christians, atheists, and traditionalists. So this is more than a pastor and his Christian and his Bible. So we will be struggling to see that the respect for the Almighty, the Supreme Being, is actually brought down to the grassroots, so that with the God, you see, love and support will be given for her to achieve her goal. That is the first thing we would want to do. And it is just true that with this kind of support in her government, we will exceed, we will be able to do exceedingly abundantly above what people may imagine. So the future is bright, and it is really, really bright for all Ambazonians to know that we are in a God-ordained revolution, and our president is going to receive the spiritual support and her spiritual commitment. Because, you know, boldness is something that makes people to even, you know, ignore some certain things. But with humility, she is going to receive a greater exaltation, which this transitional period is just the stepping stone. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Chang. Thank you for that good advice to our newly elected president. I want us to talk about this issue of the Residential Council decision to dismiss the Secretary General, Dr. Winnie Lobati. I know Miss Anne is here. She is the chair of the government committee. She knows better why she was dismissed. Dr. Winnie Lobati, we learned that she has been having a lot of hijack of the Restitution Council
Because I'm
documentation.
on live, okay?
She has suppressed every communique coming from the Restitution Council resolutions. Honorable Anne is here to tell us why she was dismissed and stripped off of her duty as the Secretary General of the Restitution Council. Honorable Anne.
Yeah, thank you once more, Comrade Fritz. Fellow Ambazonians, thank you once more for tuning in. The dismissal of the Secretary General of the Restoration Council was something obvious. You have all been informed of all her atrocities. You've watched her go against all the norms of the Restoration Council. She started this even before we talked about elections. We did not know we had a mole in the house, and she was just a mole. In November, when we started talking about elections, she was the one who started twisting the constitution around until a video came out where she herself went on ABC and read with Secretary Chris Anno that the tenure of former impeached President Sako was 2 years. That is when she started saying, yeah, her problem now is because we didn't act on time. But all along, she had been misleading the House and arguing and twisting everything around. So when that came out, she went on air. We thought she was going to do the damage control because she has been misinforming people. She didn't do that. She went on air trying to sell her own agenda, and we didn't know that she was acting based on the command of other of the Bitcoiners. Anyway, she's one of them, so we didn't know. We just knew of recent. And then we didn't even pay attention to all she was doing. We had meetings day in, day out. It started when Secretary Chris Anu came and reported to the Restoration Council that there was an issue at the cabinet, at the level of the cabinet. Not only did he have an issue with Irene Ngwa, and the former president did not get it sorted out on time, but there are other issues inside the cabinet that warrants the attention of the Restoration Council. So we saw that of Secretary Chris as something that we could deal with directly. So we saw that their issue was creating a lot of negative energy. We held a meeting and voted that okay, we have to suspend Secretary Chris and Iringwa for a time being, so that this negative energy they are bringing into the revolution will cease. And then we created a committee that was going to sit with the two of them, get the issues sorted out, and then bring them back to the cabinet, and so that they can work as a team. But what did the Secretary General then do? She refused to put out the recommendations that we made. She refused to publish anything. And then she doesn't tell us she will not publish. She will tell us, "Oh, I'm busy. I'll do it today. I'll do it tomorrow." And then she'll go off like for 1 week. You call her, she doesn't pick. She doesn't do anything. The next time you get her again is when we have another meeting. She will share the Zoom link and claim that she's very busy and come to the meeting. Before we knew, we had issues that had escalated already, and then issues kept piling, and we didn't know that it was because of her personal ego and agenda that she was not publishing those things. So at the level of the Restoration Council, she really got us. Honestly, she got us. Because nobody could believe she was acting out of bad faith. So we kept believing that anyway, it can happen to anybody. If you are busy and you are so carried away by work, you don't have time to write all those things, because it entails a lot of writing and consultation of the Constitution. She cannot just write from space. So we granted her that mitigation. We didn't know that it was something planned, and then she did that over and over, and all of a sudden we realized that we had systematic meetings that she did not publish the resolutions arrived at. Then we decide on the when we got news that the former president had to reshuffle his cabinet when we were talking about elections, and he did not even bother to come and to come to us. We said okay, the chairman of the Restoration Council reached out to the former president that he should not reshuffle his cabinet because we are talking about elections in the months ahead. So reshuffling any cabinet now is like attempting to hang on to power. Wait after the elections. If you are re-voted, you have a right to reshuffle your cabinet. But they are talking about elections and you want to go reshuffling cabinet and dismissing people. That is not the way to do it. So we recommend that you don't go do that. She did not publish it until my committee, which is the Government Affairs Committee of the Restoration Council, that's held a meeting and arrived at some recommendations that we had to forward to the president. Just that was something like a private text to the president that please, the vice president has just come up with allegations against you. We are still trying to investigate. The other people, the president, Iya Marianta, was the first person who came to the Restoration Council to complain that there is a lot of leakage of information in the cabinet. The Restoration Council should do something. It took us really time to get the president to come to the former president, Sako, to come to the Restoration Council. When he came to the Restoration Council, we were told that he had not had organized any cabinet meeting for close to 6 months. Everything, all the charges against him, he came and turned them down. Still, the Secretary General did not put out those recommendations.
Honorable, Honorable, can we hold on a little bit about the former president? I want us to deal with this Dr. Winnie Lobati's dismissal before we go to
Yes,
that.
I was just telling you the trend of events that led to her dismissal. So all these things that happened, she didn't put them out. She was supposed to publish these recommendations. She didn't. And then in January, beginning of January, the recommendations that my committee, which is the Government Affairs Committee, sent out, forwarded to them, she took them, then rewrote them, and then published them as coming from the Government Affairs Committee. That was misrepresentation and deceit. We at the level of the Restoration Council accepted. I was shocked because my committee did not write those things. So in a general meeting, I asked her, why is it that the whole Ambazonia knows that those recommendations are coming from the Government Affairs Committee, but that is not true. So she said, yeah, she took those of the Government Affairs Committee, added some, and then tried to change some of the wordings and publish them. And we asked, why not publish them in the name of the Restoration Council? So we did not know that she was making a ploy to tag everything coming from the Restoration Council as if it was coming from a committee. You understand where she started all those things? So before we realized what she was...
Honorable, and can you talk about the allegation that she was promised to replace Chairman Kometa, the post of chairman or chairperson in Restoration Council?
Yeah, I'm still coming to that, Comrade Fritz. So while this was on, we never had any reason to suspect her. So I got a call from somebody, just a friend in the US, telling me that that's a member of the cabinet. The person is in the cabinet still. So he told me that no, there is something. Do I know that the former impeached president is doing everything to unseat Chairman Kometa and replace her with Honorable Winnie Lubati? And I was like, are you serious? So, and then he told me that they called the two of them up. And the two, Winnie and another man. So I said, okay, in a general meeting, I will ask it. So I met with the chairman and the vice chair and a couple of people who confirmed to me that they had the same information already. So in a general meeting, so I called the chairman myself and asked the chairman that, have you heard that Dr. Sako is going about around trying to replace you because he says you kick against most of the things he wants to do, and he's using Winnie. So the chairman told me no, Winnie will not be stupid to accept. Winnie cannot be manipulated by Dr. Sako to accept. Thinking of her level of education and her integrity, I've known her all my life like a no-nonsense woman. I've always respected her. She's always been like my role model in the Restoration Council. I believe that the chairman had the same judgment as me. So we thought that no, she will not be manipulated by Doko. So I came to a meeting like in a joke. I said, "Oh, my Winnie, I got the information that the Dr. Sako wants you to replace the chairman. Is that true or false?" And another one man, and another person in the Restoration Council, that you were called up. She said, "No, Mio, God forbid." So she in the meeting, she said she wasn't the one, and I believed her. But then we had not get all the dots. That was when all this was going on, and then I realized that when they said we should not vet, because the chairman has said that Sako should not reshuffle his cabinet, and then he did that. And to be honest, when Dr. Sako became president, he sent his first cabinet that for us to vet. That is when Dr. Achenjo, you were there, and most of you were in that cabinet. That was his last cabinet that we vetted. And the vetting at the level of the Restoration Council is done by the Government Affairs Committee. We never vetted any of his cabinet. I only hear he has appointed this, he has appointed that. And even back to my county, he did appointments. So that is what, so all of a sudden this year, in this last month, just before things escalated, Winnie Lobati called me when she knew that I had evidence and it was classified from testimonies. So she first of all called me and gave her the evidence. I told her that no, even the chairman does not have the evidence. I have the evidence and it's classified. And until the investigation is done, releasing the evidence. She told me that, okay, no worries, I should send the evidence. After trying to tell me that I should go back and cancel all those hearings that I've done, and then tell the people to go and notarize their write-ups and notarize their evidence before bringing to me, otherwise it will not be admissible in court. So I told Winnie Lubati that, Madam, you are joking with the wrong person. I'm not only married to a legal mind, but even a child, a primary school child knows that for evidence to be admitted in court, it does not need to be notarized. No court in the world says you must notarize or write up before you bring to court to present as evidence. And then she said, no. I said, no, then it means you people want to create a strange court in Abazonia where you will need to go and notarize evidence before you come and present evidence that is coming from you. And then I asked her a question. How do you expect them to notarize audio recordings? She said, no, then those ones can be accepted like that. I said, no, Ma, we need to stop trying to manipulate people. And then she called me and told me that for the vetting, I should just go ahead and vet. I should not wait on the chairman. The chairman has no right to pass a decision that I should not vet the new executive that Dr. Sako just sent in this January. That is Dr. Ate and a couple of people. So I told her that I don't think that the chairman made this decision. The House voted that no vetting should take place. And the House voted that he should not even reshuffle his cabinet. How can you call me on the background and begin to and ask me to go and do the vetting behind the back of the other people of the entire General Assembly that voted? So I thought I'm not going to be a party to that. So, and then that is when now I started, I called the chairman after that and said, no, there is something strange here. The Secretary General called me and was telling me to do this, contrary to what was agreed in the House. And now I am beginning to understand that the leakages, everything she is connected to. But the only thing is that she was not in the meeting where the vice president testified against Dr. Sako. Otherwise, I would have said she was the leaker, but she wasn't, because But still yet we got the mole, which was Dr. Ade. So that is how she started doing things. And all of a sudden, on the day of the impeachment, she came in with the other 7 who distanced themselves from a letter purportedly coming from the Government Affairs Committee. And to be honest, the chairman took the same letterhead that she sent out the first recommendations with the name of my committee under. And after waiting for her for 2 weeks to send out the resolutions, the chairman decided to do it himself. So he hurriedly removed the content, and then transferred the new one and sent out without taking note of the Government Affairs Committee that was under. The chairman came back right to the forum, to the leadership forum, and wrote an apology statement that he is sorry for that mistake, and that and especially to the Government Affairs Committee, and especially to me, the chair, because I've been affected. So that it was a mistake, and he explained it. So we thought Winnie would go on live and say it, and she went to ABC and was saying, "Oh, it's coming from a committee," knowing fully well that it was coming from the chairman. What do you call that? That is hypocrisy. That is deceit. That is leading and misinformation. That is, she's not just being
Honorable
honest.
Ann,
It is more than
Honorable Ann,
dishonesty.
Honorable Ann, thank you. I will want to get some information from our other panelists concerning this, because this is really what they call intellectual dishonesty. This is what they call falsification. This is what they call misrepresentation. And I want us to get from our other panelists, Dr. Atienjo. You were in the in the cabinet then, and you saw of this thing happening within the government. But I want to ask for your own opinion. What do you think Dr. Winnie Lobati was doing in terms of this misrepresentation, this falsification, this what Miss Ann called dishonesty and hijack of the chairman's position?
Yes. Once more, thank you, Ambazonians. We are here to actually relay information to our audience to understand the state of our revolution. And it is time for us to weed out the bad seeds that we have within our community or within our struggle. Yes, if Honorable Anne has eloquently stated a lot of things here that happened in the Restoration Council, and I want to applaud her for that. But one thing that really took me aback was the fact that they did not realize that she has been a mole in the Restoration Council. I come from the same county with Winnie Lobadi, and she played a very, very dishonest role with the crisis that happened in Momo. She was one of the signatories to a very diabolic letter that was written by some unscrupulous individuals from Momo County who called themselves elites of Momo. They wrote this letter inviting the inefficient and how do I even put it? The Secretary of Home Affairs then, Dr. Kajang, who was so incompetent in doing what he was supposed to do. He was controlled. It was a rubber stamp controlled by many members in the cabinet. So they invited him to come and coordinate or conduct an election in Momo. And Dr. Winnie Lombardi, surprisingly, was a signatory to that letter. I don't know where she kept herself, where she kept her integrity, where she kept her understanding of the rule of law by signing a letter concocted by some individuals. And as a Secretary General in the House of Representatives, in the Restoration Council, for her to have signed that letter, that was dishonest. That was dishonesty on her part. And then the second thing that I want to let you know here, if you have not heard about it, the chairperson of the Ethics Committee, Madhuroti, signed that letter too. These are individuals who are supposed to express neutrality in certain burning issues that are affecting this revolution. so that they will be able to have the right judgment. They will be able to have that competence to pass on decisions about these cases when they are brought to them. But they were involved in this fabricated letter that actually brought down Momo. And today, Momo is still in shambles, even though we have done everything to put it together. We have done a great job, and Momo is strong today and is going to get stronger and stronger. So, yes, in the cabinet, we had already seen the handwriting on the wall from this lady showing her diabolic nature, and she was the mole in the house, sneaking information or leaking information from the Restoration Council to her favorite members in the cabinet, whom she collaborated with to actually destroy the Restoration Council. Yes, she was being picked as somebody, a team as a possible replacement for Chairman Elvis Cometa. So it was no more something strange or news to those of us who were in the cabinet. And you know that she's always been robbing soldiers with these people, and that's why she's in the ASSC number 2 that is holding in Washington D.C. And she's there. You can see the pictures; they're all everywhere. She's one of the participants. What do you expect? They are there to form a new restoration council, which I don't know the powers that they do have upon them or have been conferred on them to form a restoration council. Yes, it is true. She is very diabolic,
Dr.
and she has.
Atejo,
Yeah.
Dr. Atejo, we are going to get to that because I know many people want to know what's going on there in Washington in the fake conference. But I want us to finish with this issue because Madam Winnie Lobati has shown some form of dishonesty, and she hijacked all the forums, all the forums, I can say. But I want Reverend Chang to come in here to give.
Let me say this last thing. Let me say this last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I saw a derogatory letter which she wrote about the resolutions that were taken, and also when the president, the former, the disgraced president Sako was removed from office, she wrote a disclaimer using the letterhead of the Restoration Council. Tell me, who is that person in her or his right senses would go out there and write a letter, a personal letter, and use the letterhead of the Restoration Council, an institution? This is insanity of the highest level. This is abuse of power. And it was even delayed. Her dismissal from the Restoration Council was even delayed because she had already committed a lot of offenses which were not acceptable within this
Doctor,
revolution. Thank you.
Dr. Achenjo, you are right. That was one of the charges that she was accused of, misrepresentation and falsification of the letterhead of the council. So I think that was one of the charges. Reverend Chang, I want you to come in here. You know, you as a diplomat, you can see that this is treasonous when you use the letterhead of a council or of a parliament to draft a personal letter. That is what they call a high level of intellectual dishonesty. And I don't know your take about this.
Well, yes, you're correct. The previous speakers have just said it well, and it is baffling that Madame Lobati played a double standard game in the Restoration Council. She would speak, and you believe that she is standing to defend the institutions of the nation. And then she turns around at the next instant to just do what she feels, whether she thought of parliamentary immunity or what, but this was actually impersonation or usurpation of public property. So it's just something that the Restoration Council actually delayed in putting her in the right place, but at the end of the day, she has been put in the right place, and then they can go ahead and do what they are doing. But we have to learn from this. We have to see and follow up so that nothing of the sort repeats itself in a law-making body like the Restoration Council. I leave it there.
Thank you very much. Now let's go to this conference in Washington that is organized by the Impeach and Remove President, Sako. It's called AAC 2. AAC 2. We all remember, when we went for AAC 1 in Germany, in Berlin, we were physically present. More than 350 people were there physically present. But this one, some people call it All Sako Surrogate Conference. I don't know the agenda that they have there, but we heard that they have done what they call Ambazonia Interim House of Representative of what. They just formed something else. But let's be honest here. There is no other higher house than the Restitution Council, according to our constitution. We cannot be doing something, an impeached president go around forming a parallel Restitution Council or parallel government, bypassing the upper house, which is the Restitution Council, that has to vet and vouch every cabinet member that is appointed. And the president has shown all sort of treasonous activities. I don't want to go into those details, but I want Honorable Anne to tell us those allegations that former president committed that led to his impeachment, because most Ambazonians are still asking, oh, Dr. Sako is innocent, Dr. Sako did not steal money, Dr. Sako did not eat the money for my trip to Boya, oh, Dr. Sako did not eat the money for Lava Storm, oh, Operation Marshall, Federal Marshal was not eaten by him. So all these things, they are still arguing that, oh, the CDC deal, money was not, a lot of money that has gone under his watch, but people still say, oh, he is innocent. So I want our honorable member of the Restitution Council, Honorable Anne, who is the chair of the Government Affairs Committee and was at the head of these impeachment procedures, to tell the Ambazonian people those allegations that were founded and grounded that led to his impeachment and removal.
Thank you, Comrade Fritz. I think Ambazonians already understand that there were a lot of charges that led to the impeachment of the former president. But the main reason for impeachment was not the any financial allegation or charge. It was the constitutional actions of the former president that led to his impeachment. And we have even his own words, he himself saying that one act of violation of the constitution is illegal. First, if Ambazo, because I've heard people saying we impeach him because of a CDC deal or what Mola Edi or one of them said he was signing deals with people to collect money. No, Ambazonians, don't be fooled. That is not even one of the main reasons for the impeachment of the former president. First, the first reason for the impeachment of Dr. Sako was implanting spies in the Restoration Council to get information. If you people, let me just talk about this one. The Restoration Council is an arm of the government, just like the cabinet. And the Constitution gives the Restoration Council more powers over other arms of government. Then imagine that the president voted by this house or elected by this house, crowned president, implants a spy in the house that is supposed to check him and then takes the information. okay, he did not even take the information and keep it to himself to maybe do some damage control and come back to come out clean. He used this information, gathered a handful of innocent innocent and some gullible Amazonians, because some actually believed what he did, and then played just the part that will show that people were talking against him. But he did not actually play the whole thing for people to listen to, especially the testimony of the Vice President Abongwa. So who just tell me, we play it was a classified recording at the level of the Restoration Council. This testimony took place under oath, confidential. Everything was confidential. And I know I am the one who organized that hearing. I brought in, because when I spoke to Vice President Abongwa, he told me, when he started telling me the allegations, I knew that they concerned finance, unethical issues. So I decided that, okay, the finance committee of the Restoration Council of that hearing, and the ethics committee as well. So when the finance committee came in, that is when Dr. Ade, who was one of the more, came in. And then after that, they took the recording of that. They secretly recorded it with a second device and gave Dr. He called a conference to topple the actions of the Restoration Council, went and played it. We actually told him, or I personally told one of his mentors, that we have this testimony that is very against them. What I advise him is that the president should calm down himself. Come back to the Restoration Council immediately. We invite him, because he needs a lot to do. Otherwise, things will not be the same again. He needs to come out clean, explain and apologize to the Restoration Council, and promise that he's not going to do all those things. Because what he was doing, he was going against every act of the Constitution, every article of the Constitution. So instead of doing that, he thought that going out there to expose was going to puncture the investigation that we had to do, because he knew that it was true. Everybody who says the CDC deal is fake or whatever, I was live to read the impeachment charges against him. We stated it. That is not a lie. He signed most of those deals. The only fact is that we are still doing the investigation, and that is not why we impeached him. Implanting spies in the Restoration Council to bring him information is already impeachable enough. And if that one is not enough, after asking him not to go ahead and reshuffle his cabinet, he did that. As if that one was not enough, he single-handedly called the LGAs and county chairs to pull out their members from the Restoration Council, which he has no right to do that. He did not appoint them. And you know what those LGA and county chairs did? An LGA chair or a county chair sat on their own individual capacities and wrote that they were pulling out members from the Restoration Council, members that were duly voted by General Assembly. Can you imagine? And they did that. And then to crown it, he single-handedly wrote a letter dissolving the Restoration Council. The same Restoration Council that was the only sole arm of government that could give him the powers and make him swear the oath of becoming president. He thought he was already more than it. It's like you feed a child and the child bites your finger and thinks that he has become the mother. So he forgot that the Restoration Council made him president, and he is answerable to the Restoration Council. So he thought that he will manipulate his cryptocurrency cartel, and then they will stand and make noise and then dissolve the Restoration Council. And some people foolishly bought that, but thank God every Amazonian is seeing. And if you see what they have done at the level of the ASSC, which I don't like to talk about because we should not be bothered about this Momo cartel. It's a Momo gathering. It's a Momo meeting. So we should not be bothered about it. He went, and out of shame, he could not form another Restoration Council, since he knew that There, he has no powers to form the restoration, to create a restoration council. This restoration council was not created by a president. It was created by stakeholders during the fourth conclave, and it's made up of different groups. Not only the IG, that is there at the restoration council. Chairman Kometa's main affiliation to the restoration council is not IG, it's
NCNC.
NCNC. Everybody should
Right.
know that. So who told Amazonians that Dr. Sako has a right to fire the NCNC chairman at the Restoration Council, which is not only that of the IG? And people actually believe it. That's to tell you how some Amazonians can be gullible. They
Thank
actually
you.
believe that he has the right.
Thank
So
you,
that is
Honorable.
just
And
part of it, comrade.
yes, yeah, we'll get back to that when I hear the other panelists. You know, Dr. Attenjo was the advisor to the former president, and he knew a lot going on, you know, in the background when it comes to the leadership of former President Sako. And under normal circumstances, you know, anyone in such a precarious situation like Dr. Sako was, after being impeached, could do whatever he can to survive. And we can see that in what he's doing now in you know, Washington with some few 8 people there. But I want to ask Dr. Atenjo, uh, what really went wrong, you know, within the sphere of the advice, the advisory committee within the Dr. Sako's cabinet, when you people gave him advice, but he never listened. You try to say, please, this is what is going on. Please try to resolve these issues. Because there were problems in all ranks, the ranks of the LGAs, the counties, the ranks of the cabinet, the ranks of misappropriation. So all this level, there were problems, there were issues. But you as the advisor, what were you really telling him? Because I know uh, we heard that he was not listening to his advisors, and that was the one reason why you people resigned.
Yes, comrade, that's true. Uh, where do I even start here? I would say that there's a plethora of issues that the former president caused, starting from the levels of the LGAs. So the same institution, I know that we have to give credit to Dr. Sako for the creation of the Amber Peace Plan. It was when he was president that Amber Peace Plan came on. And this gave us a structure on which we could operate that could provide a vehicle of action for all of us in this revolution. But the same institution that the former president created, he embarked on an endless journey to destroy it. First of all, he wanted people who were gullible to be at the leadership of the LGAs, the counties, and then, of course, cabinet members. And as an advisor to the president, I spoke with him on all these topics. First of all, when things happened the way they did in Momo, starting from my LGA, Ngi LGA, he sent in a caravan that came and endorsed fraudulent elections in Ngi. I had a personal conversation with the president and on this issue. He actually listened to me. And then he told me that, but now that things have happened like this, how do you want us to do? I said, well, you cannot support illegality. When something is not good, as a leader who is outright there or upright, you can tell the people that you did this wrongly and I need to cancel and rerun it. First of all, the election was conducted under fraudulent conditions. No Amber Peace Plan conditions rules were followed. So, as a reasonable person, you just need to ask for the elections to be cancelled through the Department of Home Affairs and then rerun the elections. And whoever becomes the victor takes over. That would have solved the problem of Ngi LGA. And now, the day that Dr. Anderson came to Ngi, to meet the Ngi people after a complaint was filed, this guy, I gave him a piece of advice. I told him, Others people can testify. I said, Dr. Anderson, whatever you do here in Gi today is going to determine the future of this revolution because we do not want it to spill out of Ngi. If you take a good decision, this is going to be good for our revolution. If you take a bad decision, this is going to be bad for our revolution. And I must tell you, that is the day that Dr. Anderson put a nail on the coffin of this revolution, of Sako's presidency. He took a bad decision, and now the thing spilled to Momo County, and then from Momo County, now it went to other counties, and then the entire Amazonia was consumed. I spoke with the president on several occasions, on countless times that I had a conversation. I said, Mr. President, it is time for you to act. The members of the advisory council. Let me tell you something funny here. These members of the advisory council, were 5 of us, were contacted when Dr. Sako wanted them to serve in that council. I was chair of that council. But one thing I would like us to know here today is that he never answered a call from these members. He never called these members until when problems started. He never answered a call. He never called them. He never consulted them on any issue. He put them aside. But I had the opportunity, I was talking with him. So on this issue, I can even go to my private conversations with him. I can read to Ambazonians to see the effort that we put as advisors to the president, and it did not yield to that. When the issue of Secretary Chris, let me fast forward here. When the issue of Secretary Chris came up, I told the president, Mr. President, you should not only depend on the fact that he gave you an ultimatum, but at least there are many issues that he raised in his letter which need to be addressed for our revolution to move forward. Push aside the issue that he gave you an ultimatum. But the issues are more important than the ultimatum. He said, no, why did he give me an ultimatum? Look at how somebody is going to, you refuse to treat matters that concern Ambazonians. You only focus on something that concerns you, that I was disrespected as a president. That is not a sign of leadership. Then when they did the FCT, which is Federal Capital Territory, he created it and appointed Miley as the interim chair and by Safu as the assistant. These people were only brought in to receive money for the draft. And once that money was collected, the president took over control of the money, and that's why we're not able to stop AFCON. I brought it up in the cabinet. I said, Mr. President, something is wrong here. We need to see things work the right way. And that is what pushed them to eject me from the cabinet forum. Because I asked those questions and I pointed the fingers directly at the president. I said, Mr. President, you got to explain here, because if you are not able to tell Ambazonians where that money went to, then there's a problem. That's why I was removed from the cabinet forum. And then I went to the office of the president. I was also removed from that forum because of that. So to say that we were not talking to the president, we did our best. Personally, I did my best, and I'm ready. I can reveal all my conversations or my texts or my chats with the president to Ambazonians to see.
Please, can you stop saying president?
Former president. Sorry.
President.
Yeah, former. Let me say former disgrace. The disgraced former president. Let me put it that way.
Thank you very much. Yes. Let me get the view of Reverend Chang, who is who knew much about these movements going around for diplomatic purposes and using funds for the name of Ambazonia when he's going for his book launch. There is, there was a lot of misappropriation of Ambazonia money that Dr. Sako used money that is going for diplomacy when he's going to launch his book, and also there were allegations of, having been paid every month, having his rent, everything paid. And people are saying that if we can calculate the overhead cost of what Ambazonians were spending on the head of Dr. Sako, these would have bought a lot of farm tools for our farmers back home. But let's talk about this issue of treasury, where he hijacked the treasury. I want our diplomat to come in to give his own view about this issue when trust is given to somebody, and even after his impeachment and dismissal, he go around trying to what they call hijack the treasury. Reverend Chang.
Yes, we would like to say here that there has been a sheer manifestation of desperation, from the ex-president. If he had listened to the advice, like Dr. Atienjo has said, if he had listened to the advice, like Honorable Anne said earlier, we would not be here. Again, if he had listened to advice from us, the clergy, because we endeavored to bring him as a clergyman in the Council of Ministers of God to see that these things are resolved. It didn't sound like, we could actually deliver on matters that have to do with counseling. Well, because of the overzealousness or overconfidence, he thought consulting with flesh and blood is a sin, but he also felt that he could lead flesh and blood with impunity. So these are levels of, what should we say, ingratitude? Yes, if we calculate, it will amount to about $6,000 a month for the president's upkeep, besides other things that were coming in. So it wouldn't have warranted the president to go soil himself, like we said, the ex-president to go soil himself around the treasury. We have already heard, and Ambazonians need to know that there was no hatred in this. Like they are painting, trying to term the people's representative as a society of hate. No. You can see that they actually even delayed in the process of getting my senior colleague, in quotes, Minister of God, to come to reason so that things could be done a bit better. Because he didn't see the Constitution or understand the constitutional provisions of the People's Constitution of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, he ignored the rights of the House of Representatives. In fact, you just said, Comrade Fritz, referring to this thing that is happening in Washington, D.C. Before they went to Washington, D.C., what is Restoration Council called? Is it not called the House of Representatives, even in the Constitution? So what kind of childishness is that? So they're trying to make some relevance, and they think the Constitution spells it out. So it's not some new creation that just comes out from the blue. We will like to say there are people who are not corrupted. While there are others that are corrupted, there are others who are not corrupted. They are just looking for means to recover what they have invested, either in what you may call Bitcoin or cryptocurrency stuff that makes them to still hang behind the person in question. Once they discover that they can't recover this monies, they're going to abandon him. They're going to look for other ways to get their monies. Or if they also succeed to get their monies back. Of course, some of those monies might have been given to keep a position, a portfolio in the government for 3 years when we must have arrived at Boya. So people are in a loss. That is one of the crazy things that we have seen in this. Are you talking about diplomacy? You take monies, I mean, you go in the name of diplomacy. Those of you who listen to that tape, if they say I'm talking against my fellow colleague, minister of God, when you listen to the stuff in Brazil, the person who brought him to Brazil is a colleague minister of mine. And he sat there knowing that they together have been in the same church organization, the Deeper Life Christian Assembly Church, founded by Pastor Kumuyi of Nigeria. So don't they know, didn't they know that this man was actually dismissed from Deeper Life? He knows when they start in Brazil and they were saying all those things of sharing churches and sharing Bible schools. We don't know. Okay, listen to that audio. If they say I'm not talking as a diplomat, what is diplomacy in that? What diplomatic talk did he put in that favored the Amazonians? What? So I don't want somebody to keep staining the name of clergymen, people who are supposed to be God-fearing and set example for others to follow and lead the sheep to greener pastures, and they turn the sheep of the Most High to their milking ground, and they rush to the treasury. They are rushing to the treasury to intimidate only those that will bow down to you. But not everybody is going to bow down to that. And so the stuff is that some people are mad because every opportunity that is granted to save a government or a country also grants a level of immunity. This is why the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive have to, be a bit independent and then have checks and balances so that these excesses are curbed. In the process of doing this, I cannot compromise the fate of 8-point-something million Amazonians to defend my clergyman in a position where he even has to come on and repent publicly. If this thing happened within the Council of Ministers, you people would have just heard good news. The pastors met and they resolved the issue, and so our colleague pastor has called Ma Irene and we have prayed over her. You would have heard that the thing has been resolved, and Dr. Sako has now, in working terms with Secretary Chris, handled that issue, and so Amazonians were moving forward. This was ignored. Those some colleagues of mine were just idol worshippers to this entity. We are here because corruption has been eating into the fabrics of some of the clergy, and will not allow it to go in the system of the Federal Republic of Freedom.
We are here because of that, Reverend, to iron out all those corrupt practices that was being practiced within the government. And our right Honorable Anne is here. She knows better about what Dr. Sako was. The Restitution Council indicted Dr. Sako and found Dr. Sako guilty of financial irregularities. And most people think it's high time for legal proceedings, because you cannot be the president and you usurp or misappropriate funds, aim for ground zero, you use it for your personal use. We have had so many allegations of that funds misappropriation. But let's talk a little bit about why was the Restitution Council so slow to act because many people are saying that the Registration Council would have acted earlier to try and give checks and balances. That's a function, the constitutional function of the Registration Council. It's a quasi-legislative body that is constitutionally charged to give checks and balances to the executive branch. So many people say that the Registration Council was slow to act. So I want to ask our honorable, we had failures from Skapak, all those, my trip to Boya, we had failures in so many instances. Why is it that the Registration Council was slow to act within the ranks of trying to give checks and balances to our treasury? Reverend Ann. Reverend Ann. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, good.
Yeah, I said I have a famous quote from Martin Luther King Jr. who said, "The time is always right to do what is right." I don't think the Restoration Council was that slow per se. I just explained to you that most of the decisions we arrived at was not sent out or sent to the president, to the former impeached, disgraced president by the Secretary General, and we did not know. We have realized all of a sudden that a lot of things that were supposed to be forwarded to him were never done by the Secretary General, who made us believe they had been sent. Or maybe she sent them and the two of them sat on it and then decided her next steps in the House at the level of the Resolution Council. So, but one thing again I would like to tell you is that when the Restoration Council committees were being formed, most of us, the chairs, then I was not a chair as per se, excuse me, I wasn't a chair of the Restoration Council, of this Government Affairs Committee, until Mola Wonja was forced to resign simply because he pointed out an unethical behavior at the level of the cabinet, and then pointed out another financial misappropriation, and was called up to attend a meeting at the cabinet, and there he was intimidated and he resigned from the Restoration Council. It's after he resigned that he instead spoke out why he resigned. So anyway, thank God I'm somebody who has a thick skin, because no threats and intimidations can send me to resign or force me to resign. I can't, because when I'm standing for the truth, there is nothing that can take me away from that truth. So it is the same thing. Believe me, in the beginning, it was tough because the former president does not want you to counteract him. Immediately you say anything that points to a contrary opinion, he already puts a group to unseat you. Then he brings up every type of allegation against you, makes you frustrated, and then so that you willingly step aside or resign. I think you people at the cabinet have been facing that, and that is exactly what he has been planning to do. Before, I remember Dr. Sako used to call me. We used to talk. We used to chat like always. Until one time, I asked him some information when he sent some people to be vetted, and then I asked him to tell us that I am in the vetting committee and I need the criteria in which he used in selecting the candidate. So he called me and to ask me what did I mean by criteria. I said, Mr. President, if you send us somebody to vet who is to become the Secretary of State for Finance, you need to give me what criteria you used in selecting him. What did you know? How did you know that he was fit to handle finances? So he told me that most of those people are just recommendations from people. I say, yes, you are not supposed to know them like you have said. If, for example, a president gets out today and say, I need a finance minister, he will have 6 or 10 or 20 people, and then when he submits 5, what will be your next reaction, Mr. President? That is my exact discussion with him. What will be your next reaction, Mr. President? Can I have your resumes? Because it is based on their resumes that you will know if they actually have a background on finance. Because we want to avoid the La Republic type of government where somebody who read theology ends up as the Minister of Finance, and somebody who read
business or finance ends up as a minister of youth and sport. So we cannot tolerate that in Ambazonia. And if you don't give me the criteria you use in selecting these people, Mr. President, I am sorry to tell you, I will not vet any of those. That was the last day Dr. Sako ever spoke to me on the phone. Since then, it's either if he knows that it's something about me or he comes to the ROC meeting. In the leadership meeting, like the last one, he came in November. When I asked him questions, he already knows. And then one funny thing, I don't know how he. So anyway, I don't know if he's the only one, because when I send what I just told you, when I asked him this, instead of thinking that I asked that as me, he sent a message to my husband telling him that next time you want to attack me, come directly. Don't send somebody. Just imagine. So I didn't even know. So this is just a funny thing. So I came home that day, and my husband was like, "What did I do?" Then he was still the chair of the judiciary. How can the president say I sent somebody to attack him? And then he kept saying that, and I'm like, "Oh wait, what did Dr. Sako tell you?" And then he read it, and then I started laughing. I say, "I know why he wrote that to you. It's because of this." And it was shocking to think that if I ask you something in my own capacity as a member of the Restoration Council, you go and attack my husband. Does it mean that I don't have the intellectual capacity to ask you questions? That is who he is. And then secondly, he has that some inferiority complex against him, so much so that he needs people around him to make him think that he's still alive. And if you are around that Dr. Sako and you don't praise him to make him feel alive, then you are of no use to him. It's either he needs only your money or he needs your praises. You can clap hands for him, keep clapping hands and praising him till thy kingdom come. He will keep you around him even if he doesn't need you. Because for one thing for sure, he needs only money. You talked about this Restoration Council being slow. No, the Restoration Council was not slow. The Restoration Council is not supposed to become an activist club. We need to take time to be sure of the information we are relaying to the public. Even the fact that we came out so fast to give these impeachment charges and expose some of these investigations that we were doing is because Amazonians kept saying, "Oh, the Restoration Council is not doing anything; they are only sleeping," and then that is why we decided to come out. We've been working a lot on the ground. The Restoration Council had a lot on his shoulders. I was just telling you that before the creation of these committees, that then I actually went and read the functions. We thought that if most of us thought that if they say anything that the treasury is supposed to oversee requisitions. Sorry, the Restoration Council is supposed to oversee requisitions at the treasury. It was supposed to be the chairman. If the Restoration Council has to question the president, it was supposed to be the chairman. So that is what I, for one, I believe that the chairman should do it. But until I was made the chair of this committee, and then I actually had to know what was within my power to do, then I saw that we have been waiting for the chairman to do a lot, which was impossible. So that is when we actually woke up. And we started calling the president to account. The former president to account, calling him to come and answer this, calling him to come and answer that. He saw that we were waking up because he wanted a situation where we will be sleeping so that he can usurp every power, every authority, and every right, even, not right, authority that is around him with the best manipulative tendencies that he could, then he will keep it. So when he saw us asking questions, what was the best thing? To puncture us, stop us, replace us with hand clappers, and that is how he got it, by buying over county, or not even buying over, using county representatives to do the dirty job for him. I'm sorry to say that, but the county chairs fell for that.
Thank you, Honorable Anne. Let's go a little bit. Dr. Achenjo, you mentioned about the AFCON, the AFCON game that played, and we know that the former president had a lot of money that he collected, funds amounting to about 28,000 that were raised for the AFCON, and personal funds that was given to him individually to fight for this AFCON game. But he never used the money for that purpose. We also know of that he dissolved the Sako County Executive, and just at the edge of this game, of the AFCON game, he dissolved the Sako County Executive. People were asking maybe he want to bring something better, but he never did. Also, he also had the same thing he did when there was Chan. He also dissolved the Sako County Executive prior to this Chan, just to destabilize, the game. I want to talk about this because we also know of some money that is come. I don't want to talk about that for Momo County and so on and so forth. But you, as an advisor to the former president, can you tell us a little bit what he was really thinking about this AFCON game that everybody was with high expectation? This game came and passed. There was no action on the ground. The farmers were ready to act. They were waiting for their material. No farmer had a material to do this, to do their job. Dr. Tenjo.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, that's true. Actually, what happened was that the FCT, Federal Capital Territory draft took place, and a lot of money was contributed by people. And I would say here, I was one of those that I put in $1,000 cash, was paid into the treasury for that, for the Federal Capital Territory. And the president got this money, and the draft was about 75,000, and then cash in the money that was already in the treasury was something around 20,000, 25,000. Yes, all this money was ready for the president to act. But from the recommendation of the ANSC, what happened was that the ANSC saw that there were many fighting groups within the FACO, and these fighting groups had one objective, AFCON. So the ANSC, they came up with a recommendation that any money that is actually contributed should be distributed to these groups, since they are all fighting for the same purpose, which is to stop AFCON. So the Fako County defense was active. But one thing that really piqued me was the fact that in the cabinet, the action, you remember the action that took place in the in Sopo or in Boya about the trade fair, the explosion that took place there. And then I saw the president arguing in the cabinet with Comrade John Igiawan about who was responsible for that action. So I saw he was trying to claim it, that his group was doing that. And then I asked the question, which group are you talking about, Mr. President? We are here to stop AFCON, and you are here in the cabinet fighting over to claim of an action that was taken by the boys on the ground. And then he said, because Bishop John told him that I know the time, he was aware of the time, and those who were going to take the action and how they were going to conduct the action. The president did not have any defense for that, but he was always struggling to claim it. However, so the money that was collected by the president, he was not able to disburse this money to responsible, because we saw that the faculty defense was responsible for these actions that took place before the AFCON. And that was indicative of the fact that they were prepared and ready to act if they had the resources to act to stop the AFCON. The president took this money, refused to give money to the ANSC, and even argued with them and brought it down to 2,500. And then he took 17,500 and he sent it to another group, a group he favors. And now that group was not doing anything. So that is the group that he was claiming that action for. So now he took that money and gave to this group, and the group did nothing. So it was a deliberate act to allow AFCON to run smoothly during instead of stopping it. Now, why did he even come up with the idea of FCT, Federal Capital Territory, when the Sako County was there? Where there are stories that, okay, according to what he told me, I asked him, what is going on? He said, money was being received by a person into a personal account in Sako County. And that is the reason why he jumped in to say prevent thievery within the Sako County. I said, if you did that, then why did you have to form a federal capital? It's just a matter of organizing elections, and then you see a free and fair election, and new members are brought in that can actually bring accountability to the people of Sako. Now, and then I said, I also asked that, what about the Chan? When Chan was about to take place, you dissolved the Sako County executive. So these actions are so timely that they are proving to ambassadors the intent for you to prevent, or instead of stopping these games from holding, you are instead supporting, you are enhancing the ability for these games to take place. So from my own perspective and those other people, you can actually see that the president, the former president, was not interested in stopping AFCON, was not interested in stopping Chan. His goal was to gather money, use these two events to get money for himself or to do whatever he wanted to do. But what really disturbs me is the fact that we have a lot of Ambazonians believing in this man after seeing all the things. Like Honorable Ann said here, the Restoration Council have done their own due diligence to bring all the pieces or all the allegations out there, all the evidences that they have within their disposal. They have brought it and they are ready to Ambazonians. But guess what? There are some individuals who have made up their minds. Today, I got a message, and I received a message about to show you how Ambazonians are. Some of us can be Lilliputs in the way we think. Yeah, we are dwarf. That is what we call you have dwarfism in the way you think. This morning, I received a message about the address where this the ASSC is taking place. So I shared it around, and I was bullied by a member who said that, why did you, if anything happens at this venue, know that it's going to be on your head. My response was, if they send out an address, they want all Ambazonians to attend the ASSC. So why are you hiding it? That you're saying that if anything bad happens in that place, it's going to be on my head. So is it a secret meeting? What is it that you are hiding? So you can see how these individuals, I mean, it's a shame. Look at the gentleman in the middle there with the traditional Dr. Mungwa. This is somebody whom I respect. But this guy has brought shame upon himself to an extent that he has lost all the integrity that a man. Look at, I mean, just show the picture. Let me point at all of them. You know, I can point all of them at them. Yeah, look at the picture.
Don't worry about
this. Look at Professor Ayim back there. This is somebody who has no will. He has no willpower to take a decision. He is swinging like a pendulum and so confused in everything. To talk about the vice president, a blind man, I don't even know what is going on with these people. I am just so perturbed the way that these people are acting. Man Lombardi, whom I discussed about her here, her damages that she has caused to this revolution. Do you think that these are people who are out to build? Absolutely. Look, Ambazonia, look at this picture and tell us, are these people who are out to build or to destroy? The choice is yours.
Yes. Of course, they're out to destroy. So let's talk about this, because Reverend Chang might know about his one of his biblical friend called Pastor Commando, whose name appeared in one of the allegations of creating numerous bank accounts around the world that Dr. Sako was swindling money to. So this is one of the accusation that Dr. Sako is swindling monies to different bank accounts around the world. So I want us to know this because Reverend Pastor Commando was one of the hosts that hosted Dr. Sako when he went to Brazil. But I want us to understand, because these are the problem that all this financial misappropriation that was happening within the government, the treasury, where Sako and co operate multiple bank accounts to avoid tracking for that kind of malpractices. And you also know of the Sako and Aringwa, how they dismantled the Fako, the Meme, the Ngoketunja, a lot of counties that were dismantled for them to have their leadership flow. But that was the financial misappropriation that was going on. So I don't know if you know about this. That was one account. There was one of the account in South America where you are based. I don't know about if you know about that.
Okay, thank you. About the Reverend Commando Ivor, who is supposed to be director of something at the presidency. The revelations brought two accounts, one in Latin America, in Brazil, and another in Africa, in Nigeria, under the
Correct.
name of the Reverend Commando. Comrade Fritz, let me just back up a bit, because we are talking about this financial misappropriation, impropriety, monies that were raised. Let me give kudos first to those who are working in the foreign affairs of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. If the sacrifices that they have been putting in place were in terms of liquid cash, you will see how much has been going into diplomacy. For example, the only time draft was ever conducted for foreign affairs was a few months ago, last year. Where is that money? All of that money has been taken out by former President Sako. A dime has not gone for foreign affairs. Who doesn't know this? We may not know in the Foreign Affairs Department, but Reverend Commando and Dr. Sako know where they took this money to. I mean, if there's some kind of cult or something that they have to do to buy the heads of Amazonia with money, they should tell us, so we raise the monies. You can't raise money for foreign affairs and then all of it goes. I think my SOS should shoulder some of this blame. You could not, after how many years you have worked in foreign affairs and you have never had a draft raise, any fund drive for this, and we have been moving from the days of Sisiko till now. The country coordinators, the various places they mobilize, they raise funds, individual, and fly these people here and there, and whatever comes from the government coffers. And then they would loan time that we conducted that fund, that draft for Foreign Affairs Department, and you knew what was at stake. No money was sent anywhere for diplomacy until you were convinced to sign that money out for Dr. Sako to take it. You think Sako should take the blame alone? No. All right. So if they are under a spell, we've got to break that spell. The clergyman will not keep using the name of the Lord in vain for personal gains when the masses are suffering. If they want to do that, I will not be blamed for standing behind a laity as a clergy to support a lay person to lead the revolution. as long as they exhibit a
Thank you.
little bit of fear of the Lord, because there will come the wisdom to lead the people to joy and recognition of our independence. Thank you. You got that.
Thank you.
They know
Thank
those
you very
accounts.
much.
Besides that, okay, let me hold it here now.
Yes, I want to say, don't forget that Reverend Chang was a ambassador for South America, and he worked a lot in Latin America, but was sidelined by President Sako, former President Sako, and that is why we had no diplomatic move in that area where there was supposed to be some move in Latin America. But Dr. Sako never worked with him, and he worked alone. And that is why we had a lot of diplomatic lapses across the world. When we are fighting on the ground, we need diplomatic fight abroad. And that is the work of the
Exactly.
ambassadors. But he was never consulted, and I want to laud him for that. Let me turn to Honorable Ann. Honorable Ann, you investigated this Bitcoin scheme that they were using. Some LJ chairs were working with Dr. Sako to swindle money towards the Bitcoin scheme. We know of the guy called Frank, who used the Bitcoin investment to use the money that is aimed for ground zero to put in their Bitcoin investment. I don't know what is the Regional Council doing to investigate this, because this money has gone back to Bitcoin investment and not to ground zero. And the people are saying that our farmers back home, they need money for tools. They need their tools. And if the former regime is used Bitcoin investment to swindle money, and now there's a lot of misappropriation, what is the Regional Council doing? I know you guys are doing a lot of auditing now, but not go into details. You can tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Comrade Fritz. Just a point of correction: the restoration is not carrying out any audit. The auditors are doing the audit themselves. The Restoration Council is only playing the role of an observer. We are not financial experts to auditors to any audit. So we just want to make sure that the audit is done the right, the truth will be brought to the people of Ambazonia. And I remember the last week, a couple of days back, I was with Secretary Chris on a show, and I said that there is this chairman of Ngo Okotunja who has been signing out monthly requisitions from the National Treasury. And I even said it was only for 2021. That was last year. I made a mistake and said he signed out $120,000. But no, it's $220,000 for 2021
Wow.
that he has taken out. That's the Frank and Associates. So we have discovered that 80% of funds raised goes to Frank and Associate. I want Ambazonians to know that Frank and Associate has been investigated to be an insurance company. And if it is an insurance company in the state of Maryland or DC or wherever, it is owned by Ambazonians because it is opened with the money of Ambazonians. And the lawyers are busy with that. Frank and Associate must give back every dime he has taken from the National Treasury or hand over that insurance company to Ambazonian people to manage. But the fun is that the requisitions are signed by Dr. Sako. They were signed by Dr. Sako because that was before we got the statements of account. As far as Bitcoin is concerned, we had this treasurer, former treasurer at the National Treasury, who came and confessed. He was the first person who whistleblew about Bitcoin to us. That we should be careful because most of the people, LGA chairs, county chairs, hanging around Sako are tied to Bitcoin. Then when in a meeting or testimony at the council, he then confessed that he himself fell prey to that. Doko called him personally and told him that for every 1,500 invested in that crypto, it's like cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin per se. I say Bitcoin because that's the popular cryptocurrency currency in the market. It's different trading sites where they trade. So this Dr. Sako called him and said, for every 1,500 invested, Dr. Sako makes $600. And then this man decided now to buy for himself and for himself and his wife from the link using the promo code of that Sako gave him, so that Sako can get that $600. And now this man was encouraged to bring more people who will invest so that they too will get back the $600. And then once when somebody invests under you, the person gets that money, and then your upline gets more. So it's something that it's like a pyramid. So that is how they do. And I hear that now we another witness told us that the person who even brought in Dr. Sako was the chairman of Ngokotunja into that thing. He's the one who introduced him. So we are still doing a lot of investigation. The audit is taking place, and a lot of county and LHS are being involved. And I was shocked that my own chairman of the county told me point blank that he does not see any problem why we have a problem that Dr. Sako is investing in a cryptocurrency. And yeah, man, really? You mean that somebody who lives on a stipend, his rent is paid, insurance paid, car paid, driver paid, his wife also gets money from the National Treasury to the tune of 1,000 every month, should be investing in cryptocurrency when there are fighters on the ground living in the forest without shoes? There are people who are wounded in the hospital without medication. There are some who are living under trees with no shelter. Women get in the bushes with no path, no toiletries, nothing to cover these children, and you support that a leader who work, who does not support the revolution in any way, who benefits from the revolution, who gets money if every dime of his life comes to the revolution to be investing in Bitcoin. That is my own chairman telling me. So what about your own chairman? What about your own chairman, the Comrade Fritz? What about you, Dr. Tienjo? If your own man tells you that I was a secretary, I table my resignation. I cannot work under that type of man. I table my resignation straight away. I said, no, from henceforth, I'm stepping down as the Secretary General of Menchum, and I cannot work under a chairman like this. I said it in a meeting, and I sent in my resignation. How can a chairman, and it didn't bother me, because the chairman does not even know what it means to contribute. He has never paid any draft. And now he was appointed the Undersecretary for Homeland Affairs. And all he does was to push me to go and do the vetting, and he's so mad that we are not vetting his position. So those are people who are in the revolution just for their egos. So he is trying to climb a ladder. He did not put the rungs together. You see, you need to build a ladder to be able to know if it is solid or not. You just see a ladder and you are climbing, and you are pulling people down trying to climb, not knowing how solid the rungs of the ladder are. So those are the type of things that we are bringing to very soon. The audit is still going on. We are still observing. I was still 2 days ago. I was still the observer at the audit meeting, and honestly, that was after the meeting with Secretary. Then I saw 220 something, and I was asked 1,000. And I said, and the auditor, I remember the Controller General told me that I even made a mistake and say 100 and something, and he was like, "What? Did I really look at the amount well?" Because if an individual can sign out 220 something thousand
of your money just for 1 year. That is more than 100 million. 100 million francs. Do you know the firepower that will be on the ground with that amount? And you people are there praying that you should be represented in all surrogate meetings. Those are your chairmen. Their chairmen are using you, Ambazonians. Wake up. Your chairmen are using you. They know what they are investing there. When you will be going to Boya, they will be coming out as owners of cryptocurrencies or whatever, having shares all over with deals that they have signed. And remember, Reverend Chang, if you don't mind, Comrade Fritz, said something about the foreign affairs. But one thing he forgot is that it was I don't want, even though I blame the SOS Elad, but he should not be blamed for this because he actually resisted. The former president put the draft that day because he needed the money as a private loan. He said it was a private loan, and at the National Treasury they told him, we cannot give you a private loan. That is not constitutional, and there is nowhere the National Treasury can give you a private loan. You can go to a bank. But knowing that he has never worked, he is as lazy as the word lazy itself. He decided that he will go to the former vice president, which is Abongwa, and that is one of the reasons why he didn't want Dr. Abongwa to remain. He told Dr. Abongwa that he wants that Foreign Affairs Department draft to take place because this one, Dr. Abongwa can say it today, and all of them. I've spoken to all these people I am explaining here. He told Dr. Abongwa. Dr. Abongwa said, no, don't do that. You cannot go to the Foreign Affairs Department. You cannot take the money of the Foreign Affairs Department as a private loan. And then Dr. Abongwa called Richard Tangu, who is a nonsense man. We all know Richard Tangu. He's a no-nonsense man. The president of the National Treasury, not to do it. Otherwise, he will tell the people the concern. That was the Secretary of State for that department. When he went there, Richard Tangu refused, and Dr. Abongwa as well reached out to Secretary Ella that the president wants to take the money from your department as a private loan. You people should, that is the Foreign Affairs Department, don't give him that loan because it is meant for diplomacy. He does not have a right to take a foreign loan despite all the money he's taking every month from the revolution to his family takes more than 10,000 officially before the fake requisitions that he signs and people take out 50,000, 20,000, 30,000 at once from the treasury. Officially, he takes out more than 10,000. So don't give him. When he went to Elad, as I spoke with Dr. Elad, because I called him, he was come and testify at the National Treasury at the Restoration Council. Dr. Elad said he himself refused, that he was not going to give him the money as a loan. And then he bypassed Dr. Elad now and went to his deputy, and then went to Mad Benedicta and other 3 people who then came to Dr. Elad that no, he should sign the requisition. This is how the fake requisitions are being done here in this thing. And now they had to sign a requisition. And here you can understand that Dr. Elad had his hands already tied because he refused. And then his undersecretary and other 2 people in the department came asking him to sign it because the president has said he wants to do something. But they did not know that everybody already knows that he wanted a private loan. What for? Nobody knows. And then that is when Secretary Dr. Elana and the other three signed a requisition to the National Treasury to give him the funds. And that is how he got all the money from the Foreign Affairs Department. And those are the reasons why he did not want the audit to take place, and he did not want the Restoration Council to oversee the audit because he knows that everything will be exposed. But little did he know that we already got every information in our hands before even making Ambazonians to know. So he was trying to mend stitches that were already laid to be mended.
Thank you very much for that very good information. I want us to go to the last part of the show, which is our constitution. Our constitution was written by very powerful framers, and these great men were political experts. They had the record of history in their mind, and they tried to understand about absolute power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So if
Yes.
we give too much power to the president, as Dr. Sako, former president, want to claim, then that was when he used too much power. But those checks and balances are coming from the Restoration Council. The Restoration Council has a right to give checks and balance to the president, to the executive branch. And that is what the Restoration Council did. They did to Seko, they did to Sako, and both were impeached. So that is a right, and that is a constitutional right of the Restoration Council. It's not about any vendetta, as some people want you to know. So I want us to understand that our constitution is the main reference, and after the constitution you have what we call the terms of reference, where you can see what the various branches of government are and their functions, so that you know that what people are doing here, these are their functions. These are members of government. These are people who were there with former President Sako. They were the advisors, they were the ambassadors, they were members of the Restoration Council, and also different LJs and counties. So let's know that now anything that you do out of the constitution is unconstitutional, and that is what we want to avoid, leading to Boya. We want to do the same what our forefathers did. When Endeli had power, he had a government, he had a constitution. When Dr. Foncha was in power, he had a constitution, he had everything to make a powerful government. And that is what we are trying to do here. Nobody is fighting for power. Nobody is a coup plotter or whatever you people call it. We want to emulate what we see abroad, like in America, where I am. We know that the framers of American Constitution did that until today. You can see that in working in America, where the former President Trump was impeached. He did something wrong and he was impeached, and there was a vote for his removal. The vote did not pass because he needs 30% of vote for his removal. That is why President Trump was not removed. So it's the same thing with any president in Ambazonia, and we must follow that. So, Doctor, let me go to you about this issue about constitution. We have seen these people go and create what they call House of Representative in a kind of what Sako had organized in Washington. But I don't know, under the constitution, there is no right for any other parliamentary body. The only parliamentary body that is mentioned in our constitution is the Restoration Council, and that is the quasi-legislative body. So any other thing that somebody go and create in a gathering of 5 people in Washington D.C. doesn't have any hold on anybody, on Ambazonia people.
Yes. Actually, what you have said is very clear. We have a constitution that was written by constitutional brains, and that is a constitution that we have been using to operate as a government. But it really surprises me to see that some individuals want to twist this constitution in their own favor, or they want to use only part of the articles that favor them and then discard articles that do not favor them. Before every Amazonian, the constitution is the same and has to be obeyed, has to be followed strictly. As you can see, the former president, continues to bring his destruction in the way of the struggle. You remember, Honorable Ann said it here earlier, that one of the reasons why the president was impeached and removed was because he tried to dissolve the Restoration Council. And then secondly, he planted spies within the Restoration Council, and trying to divide the government. These are the conditions on which he was impeached and removed from office. They are treasonable, they are impeachable offenses. Yes, the Constitution is a very, very important document that guides the country, guides the way a country is run. And we cannot run away from our Constitution to go and create something that is going to be like a rubber stamp that we can use it at any point when we need favor. No. So, like what they are trying to form in Washington, D.C., in the ASSC 2, which is a defunct, is a gathering. I would consider that a gathering of individuals who have decided to destroy this revolution. And Ambazonians must listen to this, must follow all these things and see, because we are not here because we want to talk. We are here to tell the people the truth, what is going on. And you've all heard what Honorable Anna said here. So we have a constitution which, to me, is not yet a complete document. But the gaps in that constitution can be filled because of the TOR. The terms of reference gives the Restoration Council the power to work with that constitution and make changes when we are faced with with certain circumstances. It means that there are circumstantial changes that can be introduced into that constitution to meet the demands of that moment or the demands of the moment. Like, for instance, here now at this point, we are facing difficult times in our struggle. It is within the ambit of the Restoration Council to take control of things and see that order is brought on, or order is maintained in our struggle. And that is exactly what they have done. But for somebody to run away from the Constitution, to go and create a defunct group, but let me tell you this, it has already failed. Because how can you go and you are forming a Restoration Council, just like Honorable Anne articulated here? The Restoration Council is representing different bodies. It is not only IG. Like, the chairman is there because he is from the SCNC, and there are other members from other groups in the Restoration Council. So how are you going to create a Restoration Council act that is an unconstitutional act? And now that the former president was removed from office, I do not think that any Ambazonia should take him seriously. Any gathering or any meeting that he calls is an illegal meeting. It is not a meeting that is out for our revolution. They are doing all sort of fundraising. They are doing all sort of unconstitutional acts, taking unconstitutional acts. All these things are just in a bid to recover what they have lost. They want to swell their pockets with money. Ambazonians, hear this. They want to swell their pockets with money. If you see the amount of money that was signed out by Frank from the National Treasury, there is nothing that this man here, the former president and his cabinet, have got to show to Ambazonians that this is money that 100 CFA francs did. They are not able to say that. And then somebody will go and sit and listen to them. So, as I said, it is not constitutional for them to gather in the first place. It's not constitutional for him to even call meetings. And it's not constitutional for him to go and gather a few individuals and they want to create a Restoration Council. He's no more a president. He's been removed from office. And whoever is following him is doing that at his or her own risk. And there will be a time, I must tell you this, there will be a time that all these people have to be blacklisted so that Ambazonians will see history. Our children will see, children's children will see that these are the black legs. These are the evil people that took this revolution down to their knees. It is time for us to start blacklisting these people so that they know that what they are doing is not good for our revolution.
Thank you very much. Reverend Chang, do you think, in the face of very strong pronouncement by our panelists, which the former president himself seems to be leading us towards a system where basically he thought he could regard or disregard the constitutional guarantees, where we know that once you are impeached and removed, you have no more powers to do anything that is within the constitution. And he is going around trying to do stuff that are out of the constitution. We have international laws, international courts, and the international community recognize Ambazonia with their constitution. So anything that anybody is doing out of the constitution is not in our interest. So I want you to talk as a ambassador. You know what the international community is looking at. They're trying to see how organized people are. They're trying to see what we want to do for our future Ambazonia. And when they see that we are not respecting the constitution, we are not democratic in our process, I don't think any country will come and recognize us. Reverend Chan.
Your microphone.
This is the core of the matter. Am I going through?
Yes. 505.
All right, thank you. The core of all what we have been saying here hinges on the Constitution. That is the highest diplomatic instrument that will lead to the recognition of our independence and restoration. Now, you cannot claim a country without a flag, without a constitution, and without a constituent assembly. Can any sound reasoning person call what is happening in Washington, D.C. a constituent assembly that has to double with constitutional issues? One, like the Honorable Irons and Dr. Atienje was saying, Fidelis, the Restoration Council is not above the Constitution. But the Restoration Council has an edge in the three tiers or branches of government. It is the Restoration Council in the top that has the leverage or the consideration to be able to go further in ethical issues and take decisions that can be for the common good. Are you getting me? So, if a group of individuals can actually take upon themselves to ignore the decisions that have been taken based on the constitution of the people of Ambazonia, it is an act of disrespect to the constitution of this country. It is also important to let every Ambazonian talking about this matter refer to the former president not only as an impeached president, but because you can be impeached and not removed from office. So impeached and removed from office puts the president in a very precarious condition. Can you get me? This precarious condition is to the effect that a presidential immunity and privileges have been severed. So any further constitutional crimes conducted or committed will have grave consequences. What Dr. Sako is doing now, if he was doing it while he was only impeached and not removed from office, it will have a lesser penalty. But now that he has been impeached and removed from office, there are grievous consequences that will come to bear upon him and the cohorts now than ever before. And it is good for them to know this. It's good for the followership, his followership, to know it and to know that it is not good for the international community to digest. Because this is not good for the international community to digest, it is not helping for our recognition. It is the government has got what is called government policy. If you double from the executive branch of the government to begin to do the judicial or the legislative duties, you are violating the constitution, because any of the organs, like I said earlier, that has this is only the Restoration Council, which is the legislature of the Ambazonia as of now. We had advocated for the amendment of our constitution because it also benefits Ambazonia in the foreign affairs. When you look at the loopholes in our constitution, it is not for our interest to allow that lofty document that scanty. So we have to do that, and we need a constitutional committee, not just the Restoration Council, a direct constitutional committee to be working on this. Now, somebody has just gone to Washington, D.C. and has just kicked off a fight with the Southern Cameroon's National Council, SCNC, by uprooting their own, vomiting their own intentions to uproot the Honorable Chairman Cometa Elvis, and by implication, scraping SCNC from this government. How is that helping you, fellow Ambazonians, that you are just blindly following? Is it not time enough for us to see that we begin to invoke, when you talk about stakeholders, you tend to attack Southern Cameroon's National Council, not as part of the stakeholders that have been fighting this thing, going into prisons, helping people even to get out from the danger zone, from the lion's den? No, it is unwise. It is selfish interest at the detriment of people who are sacrificing for the total freedom of the entire Ambazonia. So it should not go with impunity. It shouldn't. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fellow Ambazonians, I wish we could have much time, but I just want our panelists to give their final thoughts on any advice they can give to our newly elected president, President Iya Marianta, and we'll call it a day for today. Reverend Ann, you what a man can do, a woman can do better. And I always like your quote that you always quote Martin Luther, that the time is always right to do the right thing, and this is the right time. We have the right president now, and we should keep doing the right thing to pursue the struggle. So, fellow Ambazonians, know that your new president, Iya Marianta, is ready, and she will be coming up to give her opening speech and to present her cabinet members, probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know exactly the date, but just know that she'll be coming out next week and to present something for you people. So, Honorable Ann, your last word. Thank you.
There is this audio that I have, and I always want Ambazonian. I would like Ambazonians to listen to it. It's just a 26 second, and hear what came from Sako's mouth before the impeachment was carried out.
The Constitution is your number one oath that you take to be in that office, whether you're the registrar
Okay, that is his own words. Those are his words, sorry. And he said, if you flagrantly ignore, violate any act of the Constitution, you know what? It's an impeachable offense. And did you, Amazonians, expect the Restoration Council not to act on these recommendations by the master himself? He violated the Constitution, that very Constitution, when he implanted spies in the Restoration Council. When he single-handedly thought he had the powers and authority to dissolve the Restoration Council. When he single-handedly thought he has the powers and authority to puncture an ongoing investigation against him, to disrupt and defer the smooth investigation against his malpractices. When he single-handedly thought that because he has every right to go to the National Treasury to take money, the Restoration Council has no right to investigate any finances or how the Treasury functions. And you people have seen it. He has gone ahead and dismissed the president of the National Treasury, even though it's no longer within his powers. He does not have those powers. He has dismissed the Treasury Board. He has convened an informal meeting called ASSC, where they have gone there and they are making, and before you know, there are about 12 or 16 of them there. And you see, Amazonians should ask this question, you young, vibrant Amazonians who are still strong, who are ready to work, to fight for the next 20 years, like you and I, before we reach even our 60s. Why is it that this con man or this fake pastor of a man is surrounded by old people who are almost in their diaper wearing stage? Is that the government you want? It's not like I'm being mean to them. It's not like I'm disrespecting the old people around him. It's just that these people are supposed to stand aside and just act as advisors. But these are the people he has surrounded himself with. Look, the cabinet we vetted was a vibrant cabinet. Dr. Atienjo was there. Dr. Abongwa was there. All of you sitting here, Comrade Fritz, you were there. What happened? He sacked all of you who have something to give to the people of Amazonia. I brought in the same line of cabinet that Pobia of neighboring La Republic is surrounding himself with. And who? And Amazonians will say, he is planning to go to Boya. You want me to believe that? That is a fat lie. That man has no plans of going to Boya. And some of you are supporting without knowing. And there is one correction I want to make. The Restoration Council does not amend the Constitution. It's a constitutional body that does that. The Constitution is only sent to the Restoration Council for final vetting and vouching. And that is the role of the Restoration Council. And presently, a constitutional committee is being set up. It's not going to be made up of the Restoration Council members. The Restoration Council can only play the role of an overseer. That is how the Restoration Council functions. The Restoration Council is just like the judiciary, just like the Electoral Modalities Commission. The Restoration Council only sends members there to be sure that they are doing the right thing. But the Restoration Council is not doing it, just like the auditing. So don't be deceived that the Restoration Council is the one doing this. We are just playing the role of checking and balancing the affairs as the Constitution stipulates. So Amazonia, it is left for you. Oh, be wise today. If you want your future invested in cryptocurrency, go and join the Momo cartel and support. Sorry, Comrade Dr. Atienjo. When I talk of Momo cartel, I don't mean everybody from Momo. In short, I love Momo people. You know the group, the cabal that I'm talking about. Yeah. Everybody knows. Oh. If you look at the APNC, you see that 90% of those 16 people standing there are from Momo. Yeah. So that is just what I'm talking about. And everybody there has shares in cryptocurrency. Look very well, everybody.
So you people should not be surprised. And Ambazonians, I just want to thank you people for finally accepting the truth, for finally noticing that the Restoration Council was doing just the right thing. And nobody has the powers, sole powers, of dissolving or restructuring the Restoration Council. Only a conclave can do that. Only a conclave with all the groups responsible have a right to do so. So I call upon you to give your support to our wonderful lady, President Marianta. She's been a role model since she's one of the first ladies I saw very active and vibrant in this revolution in the days of the regional and county meetings. That was the only lady that was there, and she was so vocal. And I was like, who is she? And I kept following her, and she's one of the people who inspired me to stand up like this. She's always been there. She's been the European coordinator. She's even presently the UK coordinator. She's been in the cabinet and resigned because she could not stand the dishonesty and the incompetence of Dr. Sako. And she's one of the whistleblowers, one of the first whistleblowers we had at the level of the Restoration Council, who came with a lot of information and even cried out that she's from Dian. The Dian draft evaporated into thin air. And I still wonder who from Dian is loitering around the Bitcoin cartel. Then I will call on Dian people to check that the person well. The whole draft of a county disappears, and she was the one who lamented and came to the level of the Restoration Council. Anyway, it's still being investigated now. I want you people to support her. She's a lady with a fine job. She doesn't need your money to pay her rent. She owns her own house. She does not live from one basement or one property or looking for people like Dr. Atenjo here to rescue them and sign a lease contract for them because they are not even qualified to rent a house. Can you imagine? She's somebody of high repute. She's a woman of integrity. So she's the right person. She just needs your support. She has put in a lot. She owns a foundation, and it's called Friends of Ambazonia. And the sole purpose of that foundation is to fund Ground Zero. She has single-handedly pulled a lot of projects, even on mask was almost single-handedly pulled by her thanks to the powerful men that stood behind her, but she was at the forefront. What else do you need? Somebody who lives in Washington D.C., a stone throw from the White House, but does not even attend demonstrations in front of the White House? Is that who you need? And I am waiting to see those people who will really stand and say that they are supporting, no, that they who still think that so-called Reverend Sako or whoever who is really fit to take us to Boya. And those of you who are planning to pay his rent till thy kingdom come, because he will not go to Boya with you, who will pay his rent? I am telling you, you will pay it alone. Don't pull us to join you and pay rent for an individual. Our money will go to Ground Zero. We need firepower on the ground. We need to fund Ground Zero. We need to take care of those babies being born in the bushes. We need to take care of the soldiers who get bullied every day, who get wounded, who are running in the bushes without shoes. We need to take care of those women who are raped every day and molested by the thugs of the neighboring La Republic. We need to help the refugees who are internally and externally displaced. We don't need to fund somebody and fund the wife, fund the family, and fund everybody who goes around creating accounts and siphoning money meant for you, and you are supporting him. Amazonians, please wake up. Wake up. This is my last call for you to wake up. And I believe anywhere you are waking up. Thank you very much, Comrade Fritz, for bringing me once more to this show today. And I greet my humble panelist as well. Thank you. It's always a pleasure having all of you. Even on phone, Dr. Atienjo, Reverend Chang, you have been a source of inspiration morally as well, spiritually. Thank you for the good work you guys are doing for Ambazonia.
Amen.
It is
Thank
not
you.
it is
Thank,
not going unnoticed. Thank you.
thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Honorable. I'm so happy to have you, again on the show. Thank you for that eloquence. Thank you for that brilliance, and and the audience are giving so many positive comments about you. So I really appreciate it, and I'll be happy to bring you back to the show. Uh, to
Anytime.
our Thank you, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. To our former advisor, Dr. Atienjo, what advice can you give to our president, President Iya Marianta, for these 6 months? I know she has a lot of work to do, and your own advice to her, the type of governing style, the type of policy that she can bring, about character. What kind of wisdom can you tell can you give to her to give her the chance to lead us towards these 6 months for a free and fair elections?
Yeah. Thank you, comrade. Yes. We have a new president who has been elected, inaugurated, and put in place to lead the affairs of Ambazonians at this moment. And this is President Iya Marianta. She is a very young lady with a lot of dreams to achieve for Ambazonians. And it's been a week, and we are expecting her to come to talk to Ambazonians in the days ahead. So, Ambazonians, the president is coming to talk to you. He has a loaded agenda, and even though it's 6 months, but I believe that she's going to take things. She's going to undertake very serious uh, events which will actually push our revolution forward. My piece of advice to the president is yes, she's been a leader. She's been working with groups, and teamwork is not new to her. So I advise that she actually, excuse me, she actually enforces that and put in place a team that is going to work, and she should be a key player, a team player, because teamwork is very important in any successful organization or government. Then another thing is that the president should be able to look straight into the eyes of our commanders, talk to them, feel with them, empathize with them, and see so that they recognize what they are doing in this revolution. Remember, most of us are in the diaspora and we're enjoying air-conditioned houses and security provided to us by our various countries, like here in the United States, and well protected. I believe that the president would actually see the need of our boys on the ground and our revolutionaries on the ground to actually empathize with them so that they will be able to understand that we know what they are going through. So, as a president, once you are able to work with these people, they will be able to. On the third thing I would like to advise the president on is the issue um, of making sure that our resources are channeled to the right people and to those who need it. And if that is done, you would see that the government is going to be very successful, even though 6 months is not much. But what we can do in 6 months can turn around this revolution and we get to Boya. So it's something. And the fourth, the last but not the least, would be for her to actually concentrate at this moment, put all her efforts in diplomacy, defense, and the humanitarian department, HHS, so that we could, because these are departments that would actually move this revolution forward. So, just like my other comrades have said here, we need to be focused and we need to get ground zero boiling so that the enemies would see that we are serious, we are not playing. So my appeal to Ambazonians is that we've had a lot of issues going on, and I don't want to repeat what Comrade Honorable Ant has said here. I do not want to go over and over. I'm appealing to the consciences of Ambazonians to see everything that has been said is clear, and for them to make a decision. This revolution is not about an individual. Let me tell you this. It's not about me. It's not about Sako. It's not about President Iya Marianta. It's not about Honorable Anne. It's not about Honorable Reverend Chan. This revolution is not about Comrade Fritz here. It is about the Amazonian people. I'm a victim of brutality. In 2017, I was almost killed and my entire family in La Republique when they saw my blue passport, US passport. So I am one of those people who have suffered in the hands of La Republique. And I wish, and I cried on that day, I said, I will never I will never suggest that any Amazonian should go through this pain, the pain I went through. Do you know what it means for your hands to be tied to your back and they beat you for over a kilometer walking? People will go and make meters away from you, run and come and hit you from the back. You fall with your face down. They will use the base of the gun to hit your face. They will break the ribs of your brother in front of you, drag your mother on the tar in front of you, drag everybody and almost killed everybody, and your face deformed. Please, Amazonians, we are not here. We are not joking. We are in this revolution because we want to we want to restore our independence. The former president did not have any intentions to take us to Boya because what do you expect from somebody who is living free from Amazonia, feeding free from Amazonia, clothing from Amazonia, and everything? You want me, if I'm enjoying all those benefits, you think that I'm going to put my interest in rushing us to Buya where I'm not going to enjoy those things? No, I will stay here. I will bring all the games and the schemes to break things up. So we have a leadership now that is responsible. They are not asking for any dime from any Amazonian to pay their rents. They are not asking for any dime for feeding. They are not asking for any dime for anything. And as we said, they are not asking for any dime, and no Secretary of State is going to ask for any dime, like diplomacy, to travel. Okay? So we are here to work for the interests of our people. So look at your people. Your conscience should be your best judge at this moment to determine, for you to determine. You are not in this revolution because of any individual. We are switching sides because we want to make things work for our people. We want our boys to leave the bushes and come play and work for Amazonia, for a united Amazonia, a country that is going to be an example for the rest of the world to emulate. That is what we stand for. So my appeal to all Amazonians, please ignore anything that is called by this removed president. He is now history. Please, anyone following him, and I'm going to appeal to the new government to come up with some kind of a truth and reconciliation commission that is going to go through and call all these individuals, talk to them, and put them, either they blacklist them and put them in a list so Amazonians would know that these are the people that are against this revolution. These are, if you look at all these people, they are comfortable in America, they are comfortable in Europe. They don't want to go home. Yeah, so that is my last word to my people. And I really appreciate you, Comrade Fritz, for bringing me on board. I appreciate Honorable Anne, I appreciate Reverend Chang. We are always together, and I'll always be delighted to come and talk to Amazonians on your platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation on ABC, on ABS TV, and I wish to have you for another time. I mean, you guys are so wonderful. Thank you, Doctor, for coming.
You're
Reverend, yeah, Reverend, Reverend Chang, your last word, but I want you to focus on some advice given by Dr. Achenjo on certain what are the diplomatic areas where you wish the new president to focus on. Dr. Achenjo mentioned some of them, like self-defense, health and social, judiciary, finance and economy, treasury, and ethics, then communication. I don't know which of these branches are areas of focus so that we can have some strides in the diplomatic side of things too. Reverend, it seems Reverend is yes. So my question was to Reverend Chang about his last word for the show, about his advice to our current president, Iya Marianta, about what kind of areas of focus she can be focusing on in these 6 months to achieve a lot of goals leading to the new era. So I don't know, Dr. Chang is frozen, and if he's frozen, then I'm very happy for the panelists that came for the show. This is the first show we are having, and you can see the name of the show is Face the People. That's why we are talking the truth to the people. We're trying to explain to the people what is going on. But don't make any mistake. We are constitutionalists. We are legal people. We want to follow the law. That is the only thing that makes a country. If you don't follow the constitution, you don't follow the institution, then you make a dictatorial government. And we don't want to leave Paul Biya and the La République regime to come and have the same thing that we are trying to run from. Else, we better end this whole thing. So we have to follow our constitution, follow our institution, and we respect them. That is what makes democracy. I'm saying that because I am in the United States of America, and we see how democracy works. No president is above the law. No member of government is above the law. No one citizen is above the law. Everybody follows the law. So irrespective of your rank, irrespective of whatever you are, whoever you are, you have to follow the laws of the land. And that is what makes a good country. And that is what we want to do in Amazonia. So whatever people say, whatever people talk about, whether they call, whatever name they call coup plotters or hand clappers or whatever, it don't matter. What matters is what we are trying to build. We're trying to build a country of law, a country of institution and constitution. That is what makes us strong. And fellow Amazonians, I'll be coming next Saturday. So know that we are fighting a war of existence. Don't forget, the Biya regime declared war on us. We, the minority Southern Cameroonian, Amazonian, over 15,000 Southern Cameroonians have died, murdered by the La République military. And we are still fighting because we want to take back our country. Don't forget, we have refugees back in Nigeria, some refugees in other countries. Millions of our people have been internally displaced. Don't forget that. So we are still fighting because what La République want to do to us, they want to do to us what they call ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing means that they want to cleanse all what is us, all our identity. You saw the various massacre that have happened. Don't forget, you saw massacre in Guzang. You saw the massacre in Batibo, all over Babanki, Pinyin, Bali. You saw the massacre in Bamenda, Bafut, Ngabu. You saw the massacre in Kumba. All these massacre, our people have died and shed their blood. So we shouldn't lose sight of the goal. Our number one goal is to reach Boya. And only until we reach Boya before we can stop this war. You've seen more than 500 villages razed to ashes by the Biya army. Don't forget that. So we are still fighting to regain our land, our country. Our country that you saw what Endelis and Fonchas built. We had the Tico airport. We had the Vero timber. We had a lot of things that they built. But La République came and destroyed everything. Now, Amazonia, the richest area in La République, the richest area, is having nothing. Look at what is going on in our land. Our famous schools like Seka Baptiste, PSS Kumba, Kas Bambili, Kas Kumba. What do you have? We had the WADA, the Womb Area Development Authority. We had all these things, Tico Airport, the Muyuka Timber Company, the Cameroon Air Transport, a lot of things that we have lost. But today, we are here because we want to regain all these things. You know, Our Lady of Lords, Sacred Heart College, all these great schools, well, Seat of Wisdom, What do you have? We have so many things that we have fought for the years. But La Republique has taken this from us. Thank you very much, and see you next show. Thank you very much.
I'm home to stay.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Yeah, oh, you listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you listen to mama. Yeah, oh, you listen to mama.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Odupe, my love, I will be back to Zimbabwe just for you, Christina. Motero. Odupe, my love, I will be back to Zimbabwe just for you, Christina. Chinyanga Fiba. Odupe, my love, nalatio na motema na ngai Christina. Iris, Limanco, Odube, my love, nalatio na motema na ngai Christina. Titi Valois, Benz, Pétrole. Christina, mama, try to be my love. I will come back. Don't try to be my love. I will come back. Don't try to be my love. You my wanna baby. Don't try to be my love. You my wanna darling. Don't try to be my love. I will never forget you, don't baby. Try to be my love. Christina, mama, don't try to be my love. Chéria, baby. Don't try to be my love. Chéria, Eva. Don't try to be my love. Eva Samé. Don't try to be my love. Oh, Christina. Don't try to be my love. My baby. Don't try to be my love. I miss you too much. Don't try to be my love. I can't forget you, baby.